In this video, I'm going to be discussing 2 tips for managing the mental side of running ultramarathons. Alright, let me share with you one of my favorite running related quotes. You're running on guts, on fumes, your muscles twitch, you throw up, you're delirious. But you keep running because there's no way out of this hell you're in. Because there's no way you're not crossing the finish line. It's a misery that non-runners don't understand, and that's by Martin Costello. So the reason I love that quote so much is because it really encompasses the mental side of running. Even at the marathon distance, while it's not an ultra, marathon does start to really peel back the layers of what it would be like in an ultra marathon. When you start to get to mile 19, 20, 21 and beyond, when your glucose levels crash and you're really dealing with the pain cave, that is just kind of the beginning of what it is like in an ultramarathon. Sometimes you hit those 2 and 3 and even more times. So I've always told people that while ultramarathons are extremely physical, they're mostly mental, and it's kind of a weird thing to think about, but when your body's in extreme pain, it's how you deal with that pain, how you deal with your brain telling the rest of your body that it's time to stop. How you deal with that is how you deal with ultramarathons, and if you can be successful in ultramarathons. And success to me means finishing. So in ultra running, attitude and mindsets make the ultra runner being tough, being resilient, being driven, composed, and ready to face challenges in any conditions are just some of the qualities an ultra runner must have. Your first ultra is an exciting and daunting experience. There's just so many variables and so many unknowns, and the mental side of it is really where you can do a lot of work that will get you ready for race day. For most runners, that first ultra will not go perfectly. Mine didn't go perfectly, but I finished, and it was a master's class in teaching me what I was made of and how much mental toughness is absolutely necessary in ultramarathons. Now, while the physical side of running ultramarathons is undeniable, the mental side is something you have to master, because without it, handling the physical side will be impossible. Now let's get into the tips, and keep in mind, these are simplistic, but they're extremely important. Number 1, be prepared to spend a lot of time alone. Running ultramarathons requires you to spend a lot of time alone in your own head and a lot of time alone in training. And one of the things you want to be prepared for when you go into race day is there's a very good chance you're going to spend a lot of time alone on race day. And this could be in very miserable weather and all types of terrain. This is where training becomes so important that you can train without music. You can train without someone to talk to the whole time. You can train with never changing scenery or elevation, and your legs are screaming at you because they need to change the muscle groups, and you're just miserable. You have to be able to deal with these things on your own, in your own head. That's the only way you're going to be successful on race day, because ultimately there are going to be times where you're alone for hours on end, and if you're used to kind of leaning on music or leaning on another person to kind of help build you up, you're not always going to have that. So being mentally tough is going to be super, super important. So one of the best things you can do when you get in this type of situation is learning to talk to yourself, learning to talk to yourself through the bad spots, learning to be mentally tough enough just to be on the edge of breaking down and being alone. Those of you who have been through this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to be able to have these conversations pre-race, during training, to know that they're going to come, so that when they do come, you can kind of walk yourself through, okay, I knew this was going to come. It's okay. You're not dying. You have to be able to kind of calm yourself. And this is why historically I have run as many hours as I do on a treadmill as I do on a trail, because, well, that's one of the reasons. I want to be close to home, and I like being married, and I like being near my family. But I always figured that if I could run 7 or 8 hours on a treadmill, with no music or TV, I can run anywhere. And it was really more about the mental side of training, the monotony, and just the boredom. Putting myself in that situation during training, that way when I'm in that during a race, that's not another obstacle to overcome. Now, it really is a game changer to have a pacer or to buddy up with someone during an ultramarathon. So if you can take advantage of it, I would take advantage of it because it really does help tick off the miles and really helps your mental state. But remember, you're running your own race, not someone else's, so be prepared to go solo at any point. That's definitely something that comes up. So if you buddy up with someone and they're going at a faster pace or slower pace, Sometimes that relationship will kind of change and they want to slow down or speed up, and you have to, at that point, deal with the mental side of kind of that race breakup and let them go on their way or you go on your way. It can be hard, believe me, it can be hard. It's a weird thing, but it is. So ultimately, you need to learn to be your own motivator, your own therapist to get you through those rough patches out there. And you need to be able to convince your mind that your body is lying to you and that you're not dying and that these patches will pass in time and things will improve. So keep eating, keep moving forward, and try to enjoy the race you signed up for. And just remember, you signed up for the race. You're out there for the fun you're having. Even if it's miserable, you need to understand you're out there of your own accord. This is what you signed up for. You signed up for an ultra. You didn't sign up for a nature walk. That it's going to hurt. You're going to go through hard times, but the feeling you're going to have at the end is going to far outweigh any of the misery that you're feeling at any point in an ultra. Number 2, let go of any expectations of anything and just focus on your training and being confident that you are ready and prepared. Let the stress and expectation of finishing times and having the perfect day, let all of those go. Have 2 goals: to execute your race plan as best as you can and to finish the race. And understand that more than likely, especially in your first couple ultras, things are going to go sideways on you. Be prepared for it. Know that it's coming and be mentally tough enough to battle through it. Look, every day that goes by is one less day that we have on this earth. If you're lucky enough to be able to run ultra marathons, then don't take it for granted. Enjoy every minute, because at the end of the day, running is something that you love, and when things go wrong, learn from them, move on, and don't let the mental issues coming up during a race take you out of one. Running ultramarathons requires more mental focus and preparation than any other type of running. So prime yourself by actively preparing yourself to be mentally tough, thinking about how you will mentally approach race day and all of the things that could possibly go wrong. Now, I know you can't prepare for everything, but you could prepare for most of them and just be aware that things are going to go sideways and just be mentally prepared. And that way, when you're not going to be completely distraught. So experiment and understand that there are 2 constants you're going to need in ultra running. The first is mental toughness, and the second is the ability to problem solve. And if you've made it this far, if you're out here researching, I know you have what it takes. I know that even thinking about running an ultra marathon means you have that little something different about you than most people. You got this. Just stay with it. Prepare as much as you can, and I know you're going to be successful. So if you're still not convinced and you want to know why anyone can run an ultra marathon, please click on this video right here, and I will see you in the next video. We'll discuss it a little bit more over there. And if you did like this video, please make sure you hit that thumbs up and click subscribe if you're not. If you're not subscribed, you need to click subscribe so you can get notifications every time I release new content. You don't want to miss out. Let's go. Click here. I'll see you in the next video.